So Rishi Sunak delivered his spring statement, and despite being underwhelmed at the start, he did pull some rabbits out of a hat, I think. I was slightly underwhelmed by his announcement that fuel duty would be cut by 5p per litre from 6 p.m. tonight. If you're filling up a car with petrol or diesel and you put in 50 litres, that's a saving of £2.50 per tank. It's worth having, but it's not a massive amount of money that's going to make a difference to many families' lives. He then moved on to remove the 5% rate of VAT from solar panels, heat pumps, etc. Again, it's worth having, but it's not a massive difference if you're spending £10,000 on fitting solar panels to your house. So ultimately, at this point, I was quite underwhelmed by what he was suggesting. And then he pulled his first rabbit out of a hat. Historically, the national insurance threshold, the point at which you pay national insurance, has been a lot lower than the point at which you pay income tax. He's now aligned that national insurance threshold with the income tax threshold and increased the national insurance threshold by £3,000. So that is a saving of £330 a year for everybody who pays national insurance. Of course, we do need to balance that against the 1.25% health and social care levy, which is being brought in April. So you've got an increase on the one hand in terms of the health and social care levy and a reduction by the increasing threshold on the other. It appears from his numbers that 70% of the people who pay national insurance and also will pay the health and social care levy will benefit from a tax cut in respect of their national insurance falling. He then pulled the next rabbit out of the hat, and he announced that the basic rate of income tax would fall from 20% to 19% from 2024. That is, again, a cut for 30 million people. Everybody who pays income tax will receive that tax cut. So much as we had an underwhelming start, these two measures are, I think, more generous than we expected. I think we should understand that the Chancellor is in a position where government borrowing is high because of the pandemic, and therefore debt interest that accrues is going to be somewhere between 80 and 85 billion pounds a year. So therefore he has, on the one hand, to satisfy the debt markets that he will actually pay the debt off that he's incurred, but also he's trying to recognise the fact that households will be under significant pressure from cost of living increases. As for business measures, he has not done a great deal at the moment. He's postponed to the autumn certain reviews of certain tax advantage schemes, like the R&D tax credit scheme. So he's said that that's not working as he would want it to and not promoting the business investment that he thinks it should. And therefore, he will be reviewing that in the autumn. So where we are at the moment, there has been no real announcements about business tax changes other than a couple of consultations that will take place in the autumn. In summary, I think he probably could have done more. All the commentators talk about the fact that, yes, government debt is high, but actually the markets aren't not taking up UK government debt. They are buying UK government debt. And therefore he could have borrowed more, he could have benefited people more. But of course, the debt has to be repaid. So I think we all need to be mindful of the fact that he could have borrowed more, but it would also have to be repaid at some point. I think he's gone further than I thought he might with the national insurance threshold increase and the income tax reduction from 2024. But in terms of the cost of living increases we've seen, I think families will still be struggling over the next year or so to pay their bills.